you have a wonderful father. Mike Shanahan was Steve Berline's first and last coach in the NFL. Coach Shanahan is a man of faith who knows about discipline and drive and what it takes to excel. In his 20 years as an NFL head coach, he guided 8 teams to the playoffs and won 2 Super Bowls as head coach of the Denver Broncos in 1997 and 1998. He's the author of the book, Think Like a Champion, and tonight, he becomes an official brother in the Servite family. Please join me in welcoming Coach Mike Shanahan.
Thank you, Ken. It's indeed a great honor and privilege to be here. And when I say that, I kind of just amazed talking to Steve. I said, I don't think I've ever been to a banquet like this. I said, it is so impressive that these people in this room, what you've been able to do, but the leadership. Take a guy like Troy Cassidy, comes up here. He sounds like he's a graduate student of college. He's been working behind some great students that you can find. He handles himself like a true champion. And one of the reasons why I'm here tonight is when I think about Steve Berline, talk about leadership, think about people. And I've been lucky enough to be in the National Football League for 30 years, 10 years. You run across a lot of different people that believe in themselves, believe in other things. But Steve Berline, of all the players that I've been around, leading level, pro level, I'd have to put him in the top 5. It talks about human beings, leadership, people being able to lead people. I think that's what it's about. Everybody does things different ways, but you got to be yourself. When I think about leadership, so what really gives you a feeling of having something special? One of the things that Steve's always done is that he's got an attitude. He's such a positive person. He's got passion in everything that he does. And when you're so positive, it translates to everybody. He walks in a room, you're going to follow Steve Berline because of his passion, belief in himself, and his attitude. The thing that I loved about him, he was that way, good times, bad times. A lot of people can handle themselves. Going's good. I don't think Steve was ever in a great situation in 17 years. I don't think he was ever in a perfect situation. He did some great things throughout his career. Never complained. Preparation was impeccable. It didn't matter if it was first team, if it was Pro Bowl, if it was third team or second team. He was going to do things the right way. When you do things the right way and you prepare, you do get your opportunity and you're successful. And then his perseverance was off the charts. And the guy had 20 surgeries. He had 91 seasons, never missed a snap. And 2 seasons, never missed a snap. People forget 1999, 13 seasons in the NFL. No quarterback has ever done this. First of all, he's threw 36 touchdown passes. Only 2 guys have ever done it in the history of the game at that point. That was Brett Favre and Dan Marino. He did his 13th year. Behind people where he deserved to play. He deserved to have that opportunity. But his perseverance just went over. So many times things like that happen. And people forget how tough it is to be a leader going against stuff. It's easy to do when things are very, very good. When I got the head job at the Oakland Raiders, I was just turned 35. I was a young guy. I was so happy to be a head coach of the National Football League. Al Davis was the owner. A little different scenario there, being 35 years old. I was the first person ever to be hired outside the organization. So nobody has ever been hired at that time outside the organization. I was the first person to come in. And so I go in there and I said, hey, Al said, hey, what do you think? I said, I feel good about the guy we got. Steve Berline, I feel good about him. Really? I got to have a guy that can throw the ball like 80 yards in the air. He always a deep passing game. Anyway, we win our first game. We beat San Diego 24-13. And our players are so excited. Marcus Allen called me up that night. He said, hey, Coach, he said, there's a rumor going on. I said, tell me, Marcus, I'm the head coach. You deserve to tell me what the rumor is. He said, there's rumors. And I said, I heard that we're going to trade Jim Lachey, trade him, get Jay Schrader. He said, where did you hear that from? Well, Coach, I want to go down there, but I got my sources. And he said, we're sitting here after the game, and all the players are together. Is that true? I said, well, I've told Al how much I like Steve. And I haven't heard anything like it. I'll give him a call and call you back. Oh, that'd be great. So I called Al and I said, like, that's right, don't worry about it. Just tell them to enjoy their evening. That's not going to happen. So I said, thanks. So I call up Marcus. Marcus tells the team, there's about 50, 60 guys in the room, and they just break out cheering. No, it's a rumor. Well, the next day I come to the office. Jim Lachey had been traded. Jay Schrader, the quarterback. So it was one of those scenarios that you learn that life isn't perfect. As a head coach, as a player, and you're going to go through scenarios in life. You're going to ask people to leave. And all of a sudden you're put in some tough situations. And that's what I love Steve Berline, is that it was a tough situation for him. He still did an unbelievable job in a very, very tough situation. He persevered. Went to Dallas, which had a good football team. When he got his opportunity, he won. He goes to Arizona, not a very good situation. Buddy Ryan, he doesn't even like offensive players. Doesn't even talk to them. Then he goes to Jacksonville with the expansion draft, and he's there, and of course, just starting the team. All of a sudden, he decides to go a different direction. Finally, he gets with the Carolina Panthers. He's got to back up a guy that he's better than for 2 years. I don't think there's any question in my mind. Finally gets the opportunity with a very, very average team. And all of a sudden he goes to the Pro Bowl. And I start looking at the players on the team. I can't even tell you a guy that I thought was capable of being on a winning team. They just didn't have that type of team. But the perseverance that he had and the willingness to work is what separates, I think, young people that are here tonight from Servite. Servite, you have done something with these young people that they can believe. Steve, I thought it was just you. I can see everybody in this room is that. But before Steve comes up, the one quick thing I'd like to say is we had a quarterback at Denver. We traded to Carolina. And Steve just came off of a great year. And Steve and I always talked, we always were close. And we got together and he says, Mike, I said, Steve, I guarantee you one thing. The quarterback that they just got that is trying to replace you don't have to lose one wink. You don't have to worry about anything when you sleep at night. You are the man. So without any further ado, Steve Berline.
Can we play that one more time? That might be my favorite song of all time. Is Ryan Khalil here by any chance? Is he here? Any Khalils? All right, y'all remember a couple years ago when Ryan Khalil was recognized for the same award. He brought in the USC marching band for the whole thing. So mine was a little bit more special. a little bit more personal. My son, Taylor, was actually the trombone player right there. Tuba, not trombone. Sorry, Taylor. He learned how to play the trombone. He now plays the tuba. I really don't know where to begin as far as starting my comments for tonight. I can honestly tell you that I truly believe that there are so many people in this audience that have accomplished so much more than me, that are more worthy of receiving this award than I am, for the things that they've done to affect people and to impact people. And I was fortunate enough to play a game that we all as men dream about playing as kids. And I had a lot of wonderful, wonderful experiences and a lot of people that helped me along the way to allow that to happen. And as a result, I got to touch people and maybe impact people in different ways. But I'm humbled and very honored to be able to stand up here and receive this award, because it does mean an awful lot to me. So thank you very much for recognizing me for that. I do want to say one thing before we get going. There is an individual that was recognized initially tonight, and that is a man by the name of Jack Davis. And all of us who had the opportunity to play at Servite and to be students at Servite, because it was much deeper than just playing football for Jack Davis. It was to experience him, whether it was him teaching driver's education in his own very unique way, or if it was in the geometry class, whatever it might be, he was an innovator. He was unique. He reached the kids that were in those classrooms, those young men, and he impacted them every single day. And Brian Salerno, you saw in the video, class of '83 as well, talked about Jack Davis in that sophomore year, what an impactful year that was. I'll tell you how impactful it was for me. I had actually had enough of football after my freshman year with Larry Toner. I wanted nothing to do with football. All right? I had my sights set on being a basketball player. You saw the picture up there of me earlier with my hair parted down the middle, little wingtips back over here. That was my game. I was a basketball player. I was a baseball player. I was done with football. I didn't want to do it. Jack Davis convinced me, along with a few other people, to give football one more chance, to give it a shot and just see what happens. And we used to get a lot of grief about this. My classmates remember this. Brian Salerno and I had a little special deal worked out. On defensive days, we had offensive days and we had defensive days. On offensive days, we were obviously very involved. Brian was a receiver. He was a specialist. All he did was catch my passes. That's all he did. And I was the quarterback. All I did was throw. He didn't want me to play any other position. There was no other responsibility. So on defensive days, they would send Brian and I over to one of the side fields and they'd say, you guys just go play catch. Just go do your thing, play catch, do whatever you want to do over there. And, we want to make sure neither one of you guys gets hit, gets hurt, anything negative happens, just go do your thing. And so we were able to look at football in a totally different way than I did my freshman year. And we were able to enjoy it, understand it, and really be exposed to a feeling that we hadn't had prior to that, not due to anything other than the opportunity to play that style of football. To be able to drop back and throw a football because he said, Steve, you're a good thrower. Brian, Eric Andrade, and all the different players that we had that could go get the football. He just said, we're going to open it up. We're going to go crazy, just slide up the scoreboard. We're going to have fun. And so it became fun for me. And I realized that maybe there was an opportunity for me to take it a little bit further. Even though my true love was basketball, the football, I think, was probably ended up being the right choice for me, and I ended up working out pretty well. So I owe Jack Davis a tremendous debt of gratitude for convincing me to give football one more chance. And he was a special, special man. He's missed tremendously, but he will live in our hearts forever. I want to make one comment. I got a lot of stories to tell as well. can't compete with the stories of Craig Kelly. Those stories, I mean, you're talking about things that none of us can even potentially or possibly relate to. And what an honor to be recognized with you in the same program, all you've accomplished. So my hat goes off to you and the career that you've had, and tremendous accomplishments. But I will say this, you know, you talk about stories that really people maybe can't relate to. I would tell a few stories that maybe over a beer in a bar, maybe some of the guys would appreciate. Girls, I don't know if you can really appreciate it, but if you've ever been on the bottom of a pile after trying to do a quarterback sneak and you got 10 or 15 big dudes on top of you, and they take their time getting off and they want to just kind of let you enjoy the moment a little bit, and certain body parts might come into play a little bit. I'm telling you, for that 5 or 10 seconds, it's pretty serious stuff. I mean, the world stops, and nothing else matters. You think that the sky is falling, believe me. So I can tell a lot of those stories, but we'll save those for another time, another place. I would like to say thank you to a lot of people. The list is so long that I'm not going to get into individuals. There's so many people that I owe so much to for allowing me to accomplish the things that I have. My classmates at Servite, and also I recognize the female, the women as well, from Rosary and Connolly. We had special class. Everybody thinks they had a special class. We all, class of '83, we believe we had a pretty special class, and we did in a lot of ways. And so I'm grateful to my classmates and my teammates. We really came together in a way that very few teams, as Mike Shanahan mentioned earlier. You know, I didn't have a lot of smooth sailing during the course of my career. I had a lot of great opportunities to play at special places, Notre Dame, and the different places I played in the NFL. But there was only one other year during the course of my NFL and my college life that matched the accomplishment and the satisfaction that I got that 1982 football season, winning the championship with my brothers from Servite, and what we went through to get there, and how we all came together to reach that goal and make it happen. And when it finally happened, that satisfaction. And there were so many people from other classes that impacted us. The class before us, the class of '82, the class behind us contributed so much. And I'm grateful for all of that. But it was a special, special time. And we have a special classmate here tonight, sitting over here, Pete Sterling. Give everybody a wave, please. Wave your hand. What's special about Pete? There's a bunch of things. One is that he was a member of that team. And what I think separates championship teams from average teams, just good teams, are the people that really aren't on the field all the time, that aren't out there every down making the plays, and that aren't starters on the football team, and the big people that are getting all the headlines, like the quarterback and the wide receiver, the running back. Pete Sterling was not a starter on our team. Matt Bowen, Jack Bowerly, Jim Schwab, these are all guys that did not start and play every down, but I'm going to tell you something. They took more pride in winning that championship than any of us did, because they knew how important they were to us winning that championship. They knew every day at practice their job was to make us better and to challenge us. And we had incredible coaches, Ron Smeltzer and Bruce Ingles. And you go down the list of all, John Carroll, you go down the list of all these coaches that impacted us and went on to great things at other places. They instilled that attitude in us, taught us how to come together as a team, and they included everybody. And that's why we won a championship. It wasn't because we had that much more talent than everybody else. It's because we came together as a team for each other. And we all believed in what we were trying to do. And we did it. And it was an incredible accomplishment. And Pete Sterling is a great example. He's here tonight. He's going through a battle himself right now. He's right in the middle of it. He's already beaten the odds. But when you talk to him, you realize that he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So, Pete, thank you for being here tonight and sharing this time with all of us. I do very special, very unique because of the way that once people leave, they never really leave. They always come back. They always stay involved. They always stay interested. So many of you all out there are sponsoring students. We've heard earlier how it creates opportunities from some of these kids and some of these young men that never would have had the opportunity to go to a school like Servite if somebody didn't step up. So the alumni that continue to step up and make a difference and show these future generations how special Servite is, that's what makes it Servite. So we've got to keep that going. I commend all of you for doing that. I also need to thank my family. My parents, my dad, my mom, you made tremendous sacrifice to get us to Servite. And 4 boys, my 3 brothers, Mike, Doug, and John, all here. I can't say what it means to have you guys here tonight. We went through some incredibly good times, some incredibly good fights, some incredibly good brawls over the years, as only 4 boys can do. But Mom and Dad, you guys were always there for us. You gave us the opportunity to experience Servite and so much more, and instilled in us the values that we all carry forward today. So I thank you for that. Unbelievable models for us, and hopefully you're proud of the result. So thank you very much. I've got my 3 older kids here. Taylor, who I mentioned before, who's a tuba player. And a very good one, I might add. My wonderful daughter, Kaylee, a 15-year-old freshman at J. Sarah, and also Jacob, an 8th grader at St. Anne's, 14-year-old. He'll be at J. Sarah next year. Taylor, the oldest, tried Servite for a semester. This past first semester. From Dana Point, it wasn't very logistically easy on him. And as many of you parents know, for a junior to come in to Servite is a little bit more unique than coming in as a freshman. And it just worked out that for him it was better to probably experience Servite. He got a lot out of it. It was a very positive experience. Back at J. Sarah now, I'm very happy and doing very well. But I've got 3 of my 4 kids here. I'm so proud of each of them. They're wonderful people. And I'd be very remiss if I didn't thank the woman of my dreams who came into my life December 11th, 1993, my wife Kristen, who is not here tonight for 2 reasons. One, we have an 8-year-old daughter. It's a little too late for her. But the second reason is I think my wife, she's been to enough of these events. She hates being in a place where they talk about me all night long. She said, I don't want to sit through another one of those, so I got an excuse. But she is an incredible woman, and she is more than 50% responsible for the beautiful kids that I have. And I thank God for bringing her into my life every day. The 4 people that spoke about me tonight, they were chosen by me, and I will tell you each of them very briefly, very quickly, why I chose them. They're all people that impacted me in tremendous ways throughout the course of my life. The first being Tim Brown, and I know the quality of the video might have made it difficult to understand what exactly he was saying, but when I talk about Tim Brown, all these guys were chosen because I think they're great leaders in their own way. And Tim Brown, the words that come to my mind, consistent, positive, dependable, versatile. No matter where you put him on the football field, what you ask him to do, he would do it. Professional, stand-up guy. The guy never, over the course of my 3 years with him at Notre Dame, my 3 years with him at the Raiders, and the 15 years of his NFL career, he never made a bad decision. A major bad decision. Everybody makes bad decisions at some point in their life, obviously, but Tim was a guy that always tried to do things the right way, was always professional, always stepped up when he had the opportunity, and a guy that was in some bad situations for a lot of years with the Raiders, never got out of that environment, and he would be a Hall of Famer today if he had a chance to go play for another organization. But Al Davis, Mike Shanahan, and I know has a tendency to kind of impact and control people in ways that aren't so positive. So Tim Brown never got out of that, but he was a tremendous, tremendous teammate. Lou Holtz. experience. I had 1 year with Lou Holtz, and he impacted me in ways. If it wasn't for Lou Holtz, I don't believe I would have had a chance to play in the NFL. When I talk about him, I talk about Tim Brown, he's consistent. When I talk about Mike Shanahan, very consistent. When I talk about my dad, that other person who's part of the video, very consistent. Lou Holtz, not very consistent. In fact, inconsistent is the word that would come up. But he kept me on my toes. He was the most demanding coach I ever played for. He never let me take a break. He was on me every second of every day, trying to challenge me to see what I could produce and do better, and never to be satisfied. He was energetic, he was enthusiastic, he never backed down from a challenge, and he never let us as a team back down from a challenge. He told us one of the great stories he always used to tell us. He said, hey guys, we don't have to be the best team in the country this weekend. We just got to be the best team on that field. That's all we got to do. If we're the best team in that field, we get to win, we go on to the next one. And it was always something like that. He had so many different, I could sit here and tell the whole stories all day. But the bottom line is that the impact he had on my life was tremendous, and he continues to impact people every day that he is able to get out and speak and touch and interact. He impacts people every single day. My dad, Pops, you're one of the most consistent, ethical, proud, fair, simple people I've ever met. And that's a tremendous model. The consistency that you have with us every day of our lives. And you've been a tremendous role model for me for a lot of years. And that's, I think leaders are that way, that consistency that comes up. And then my very, very dear friend, Mike Shanahan, who made the commitment to come out tonight. This guy, I wish I could tell you, I wish I could elaborate and illustrate the kind of heart this guy has. You always see that scowl on the sideline. You always see the red face, and everybody thinks he's got the great suntan. I'll tell you, from the neck down, he's not that tan. I've seen it, but it's not there. But it's a little bit of Indian in there. Is that right? That's right? You got some Indian in there. But what I will say about Mike Shanahan is that he is one of, and I use this word again, the most consistent people I've ever met in my life. Always composed, unaffected by the situation, unaffected by stress, by good or bad going on. Leaders need to be able to keep their focus on the task at hand. What do we need to do right now? And when you got a leader like that in front of you, you sit there and say, okay, I'm going to do whatever he tells me because he knows what he's doing. He's unaffected by the situation, always aggressive, always attacking as an offensive coach. And to me, that was an incredible opportunity to be able to learn from a person who thinks that way. You're never satisfied. The game is never over. You're always trying to drive that stake a little bit further and put the game away. When they think you're going to try and get the first down on 3rd and 1, go for the bomb, bury it. That was a mentality our team knew that we had every game we went into. And it was a tremendous influence on me. And then, most importantly, I think, and what was most unique about him, was that he was trusting of his players. So many times coaches don't give their players the opportunity to go out and just play. Say, I trust that you're going to go out there and execute, produce. He always did that. He said, I'm going to give you guys chances to make plays. If we don't make them, then we're not going to win the game. But I'm going to trust that you guys are going to get it done. And we all knew that. So we all rallied around that. We all stepped up. We always felt like we had to validate his confidence in us. And one quick story about Mike Shanahan and why I feel so strongly the way I do about him. When that situation happened, he described with the LA Raiders, when they brought in Jay Schrader to be the quarterback, and then Mike got fired 4 games into his second year. One of the main reasons was because he wanted me to be the quarterback. And when he left, and we kept in touch over the years before we got reunited to finish out my career, he told me many times over the course of my career, he said, one day, when the opportunity comes up, you and I will be back together again. And I just kept thinking, oh, he's just being nice, he's being nice. Well, as I got to know him, I realized he meant it. When the Carolina Panthers released me, a year after I went to the Pro Bowl and was leading the NFL in passing yards in 1999, after the 2000 season, the Panthers released me, surprised everybody. And my world was shattered. I was finally going to be into a big contract here. Everything was going to be coming into place. I thought this was my real opportunity. And they released me. And I remember looking at my wife and saying, you know what? I don't think I can take this anymore. I've been fighting this thing for so long. I finally get my opportunity, and now they pull the rug out from under me. I don't think I can deal with this anymore. The very first phone call I got, Mike Shanahan, he calls me up and he says, I know you're going through a lot. I know you're going to be thinking this thing through. But he said, I'm just telling you, if you want a job, you got one. I want you to play for me in Denver. Didn't take me very long to make a decision. Because you know, with a guy like that, you can't go wrong. So I thank you for that, Coach, for all you've done. The last thing I want to get into tonight is to talk about what we're really here for, Servite, and the leadership. And we've heard, we all know, we all believe it, forming faith-filled leaders. That's the mission of Servite. And when you see all the different examples of what it is that's so unique about Servite, you understand. When a person like Mike Shanahan, who doesn't know what Servite is initially, comes in and says, I've never seen a banquet like, I've never seen an event like this. The way people talk, the way these young men carry themselves, the pride that they have. When they come into Servite, they get the message right away from Larry Tony. This is what we are. This is how you will think. This is how we operate. Not everybody buys into it, right? I mean, we don't have 100%, commitment after that freshman year. But I tell you what, the ones that stick it out and they learn and they understand, they open their hearts, they open their minds. By the time they're going out, they understand. And that they've learned that they now have the tools. And they know what it means to be a Servite man, what is expected of them. The expectation level is different. Now, you're not just high school graduate. You're a Servite high school graduate. And the standard is higher. And more is expected out of you in terms of how you push yourself, how you produce, but also in how you give back, how you serve others. That was ingrained in us from a very early stage in our lives, from 14, 15 years old all the way through. And I reflect back on my life. These are still the things that have impacted me and continue to impact me every single day. And I can directly relate it back to Servite, my experience here. Because just as there is negative peer pressure in the world, we all know about it out there for our kids are going through it right now. There's positive peer pressure. When you hear these guys, these young men talking about their brothers, talking about serving each other, that pressure to do things the right way and to do things the way you're supposed to do them. You can't coach that. You can't coach that. It becomes part of who you are. And in certain ways it is coached because of the formation program, but for the people to actually live it and buy into it, it becomes part of who you are. And that's what makes Servite so special, and it's part of all of us. We all get it, we all understand it. It's very hard to elaborate on and to explain, but it's there. So in closing, I would just like to say that on a night like tonight, where I really truly don't believe that my accomplishments deserve to be rewarded with this kind of an award, I want to say thank you to everything to do with Servite, for giving me the opportunities that it's given me, for making me the person that I am. Not perfect at all, not anywhere near perfect, but at least to be striving to be as perfect and as good as I can be. And understanding that there's more out there, that there's better things, there's more rewarding things waiting for me out there. I've got more to accomplish in my life. I'm so grateful for that. And for all you people here tonight, spectacular evening. I cannot begin to express what it means to be up here in front of you and to say, truly I'm humbled. And I look forward to coming back next year and celebrating with the next award recipients. But thank you so much. Take care.
Friends, please welcome to the podium, Larry Toner. Friends, please welcome to the podium, Larry Toner. This will be brief. First of all, Coach Shanahan, you are exactly right. You should get that feeling in this room. That's exactly what Servite's about. Number two, where are the grandkids? Mr. Berline. Even where are your kids? Right here. Stand up, please. Your father forgot one trait of your grandfather. I don't you forget. All those things you said about your grandfather are correct. But the most important thing is that he's a saint. Now, the boys will come and collect the envelopes. I have only one thing to add there. I thought Mr. Cassine said it great when he was up here, but he left off one thing. On that envelope, we need your input as well. If you need our prayers, you put that on there. One of the most impressive things about your boys is when they pray, especially when there's adoration, and it's just nothing but themselves and the Blessed Sacrament. It's very effective prayer. Make sure you put those things down if you need your prayers. And we need yours. We need what's on the envelope too. Thank you. Pretty good evening, right? Pretty impressive. Thank you again for attending and being part of our celebration of forming faith-filled leaders. Again, as Coach Toner reminded you, please fill out the envelopes, hand it to one of the students here with us this evening. And remember that we're going to, remember to pick up your pad and your pen that everybody has at their place setting. And for those of you that would like to continue our celebration, you're asked to please meet in the Avalon room on the first floor. Join the Servite Alumni Group Club. You'll have an opportunity to take a picture with our honorees there this evening. Once again, thank you for joining us this evening, and we look forward to seeing each and every one of you next year.